Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Firefly, a fistful of credits. You know, Firefly has a bigger presence in board gaming than when I first got into it. Firefly has a pretty good following. But Firefly has probably a mixed grade in board gaming. I like the Firefly game by Gale Force 9. Fantastic pickup and delivery, perhaps my favorite pickup and delivery game. A lot of the card games and dice games that have come out have been what I see as money grabs. Fistful of Credits, this feels like a children's game, which is odd because it's not really a children's property, I don't think. I don't think a lot of kids sit around and watch Firefly the way they do Harry Potter or Alvin and the Chipmunks or Mickey Mouse here in Orlando. But I think we got... I mean, it's by Toy Vault, so I feel like they make toys. But I feel like this is a children's game or a very simplistic board game by people who don't understand making modern board games. It's a shame because I like that there was an adventure game out there with a player moving the people around, maybe like ground missions or ground heist in this game. It just feels like there's a missed opportunity. The components are wonderful. It's beautiful. The rules aren't great, but all you do is move, and you roll a 6-sided die to move, and you battle, and it's just such a simple conceit that I'm not sure intellectually it's going to keep yours or my attention. The theme only goes so far. Firefly, the space game by Gale Force 9, I think that fits in more with what we think about with the ships going and the interactions with the people. This, I feel like, could have been anything. It didn't have to be Firefly. The characters are there. I like the sidekicks. I like the powers. There's some things I like in this game. But at the end of the day, I'm just rolling dice to move and rolling dice to battle. And I can get some gear, perhaps, but I don't know. Missed opportunity. Still, I find a beautiful game. In the box, it's just so big. And it takes up a lot of table space. The board is just so big, which I'm okay with. I can play games like that. It would have folded a couple more times. The box would have been a lot smaller. This feels more like a toy. And maybe the Toy Vault name on the cover makes me think it's more of a toy, but it just feels more like a toy than a game. And I don't understand that because I don't feel like this property is necessarily for children. I think you could watch this with children, but I don't think children are clamoring for this. I feel like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds are clamoring for this. Nevertheless, this is what we've been given. I think this is a pretty hard purge. Honestly, the only thing that even makes me want to keep it is the theme, and the theme isn't even that strong. I mean, it's literally the artwork on the box and on the characters that make me want to keep it, which I'm not going to. I'm going to purge this. There just isn't enough game in the box. That's all there is to it. Here we have Firefly, Fistful of Credits. We're going to look at the components. The box is humongous. This is a huge box. And you're going to see inside, probably a little bigger than it needed to be. You're going to get a very big setup thing here for a scenario. You are going to get a humongous board. It's just outrageously big. Seems like every Firefly has to have a big board. And that's not even all of it. That's just half of it. I don't know if mine is just... I got mine second hand. So I don't know if mine is just cut in half or if they all are like this. But I think they're modular. At least this part is. It has two different sides to it. But very nice. Has that like... I don't know. That gloss. You can see how shiny it is on it. You're going to get a bunch of characters. from the show, and each side's going to have him as a sidekick and as a big hero. And I'll go through some of these. I mean, everybody from the show that you remember that was the main characters here. Here's Wash. A little bit different on each side. That's really nice that the art, at least the colors are different. Here's Mao. Different colored shirt. It's a nice little touch, I think. Okay. And then these are going to be, this is going to be the rule book. Pretty standard rule book. Really good colors and whatnot. You're going to have, oh, some more characters. Let me finish showing these to you. Love those red glasses. They're so hideously 1990s. There's Book. The man never changes. The man never changes. Alright. Anara. One of the most beautiful actresses in the world. And then these are going to be the scenarios that you're going to have. So you have a number. This is one scenario. This is a second scenario. It's kind of special roles. And a third scenario. I don't think you'll ever get through. You get a mess of chits and tokens and cubes and dice. I'm not going to pull all these out right now. You kind of need to organize a little bit better than I have because they will be different for each scenario. You're not going to... Oh, I guess I should show you this. This is your range. If you're looking to see line of sight, I mean, not range, line of sight. You're going to get standees for these guys. And you notice this is their hero side, not their... here's Mao. Not their sidekick side, so... Okay. And you're going to have a number of cards that are going to come in the set. I mean, there are a lot of cards in this. And for the most part, they're artless. Lots of words. Backs are just kind of generic. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can get in here. Okay, so this is a Toy Vault game. The components are fairly nice, and if you don't mind standees, there's no miniatures. This looks and feels and the size of a children's game. It feels like a mass market game. That's not to say that the components are cheap. This cardboard in here is really nice. The board is really thick and glossy. You know, this is what it is. Dead of Winter has this stuff. Doesn't mean Dead of Winter's a cheap game. You're not going to see miniatures in this. So, and these cards are fairly good. So I wish the art was a bit better, but I'm happy with this. So overall, the components are actually really good. I mean, I wish the box wasn't so darn big, but it is what it is. The rules in the game are pretty darn clear. The rule book, I guess, could be seen as a convoluted mess, but the game isn't that difficult. I feel like it's scenario-based, and the scenarios are really clear, and that's really where the rules are coming from. The game is super simple to play. I did find myself going back in the rule book and having to look things up, but mainly because I didn't want to digest all the rules. I think that might have been a little laziness on my part. With that said, they're not difficult. The rules are really simple. I don't know if the rules bring across the universe per se, but you'll be able to pick up these rules. I don't know that a child would be able to read these, which is weird because the game really is for children. This is a game I feel like you could fix and make it a better game, and all the components are there that you need, but I don't do that. I don't have time to fix games. I either want a game to work or I don't. This is a game I'm going to have to look past, but the rules are there. They're fine. They're just super simple. I'm not going to teach you how to play this game. I'm going to try to show you enough that you'll be able to make an informed decision about the game. So each of the scenarios will have maybe a different board or layout, or in this case, killing two birds with one stone, but sorting out River's condition and liberating a few high pharmaceuticals along are good reasons to pull this job. That and Jane needs enough credits for a new shirt. So you're going to get a story. You're going to get a high setup, how you set up the game and where the bad guys will be and things of that nature, and how security. So these things can change each time, and you're going to have special rules, and then you'll have a timer that's timing down during the game. So you only have so much time to kind of accomplish whatever it is that you want to do. The Derelict is the starter one, if you will. It's very simple. You're going to place the guards out, the reavers out, and kind of what things do and how they work. You're going to have the timer that's coming down, and your objectives in this one. There's no special rules in this one. Kaylee must disarm 2 booby traps. So, you know, if you got to pick her, because if you don't, you're not going to get the objective. Kaylee cannot be she cannot be knocked out, or the heist is over. So you want to make sure you protect her and scavenge the ship. So you're going to be looking around the ship. Now this is a little boring because you're going to be search, trying to find those things. And this is the Reaver. This is the only bad guy that will come out in this one. This tells you how to disarm the booby traps. The game is a little lacking in the fact that, so you're going to have chips laying around the board, let's say, and then you'll have some bad guys, and they'll be face down. So when you go somewhere and you unturn one of these, you will literally just, you know, whatever your attack dice is for your character. Let me grab one of these characters here. So let's say you have Mal here. And you can have people as a sidekick, and they will give you this bonus. Reload 1 ammo when you defeat any enemy. He'll kind of move around with you, or you can use him as a hero. Malcolm's Feigned Sidearm gives 2 extra shots, battle with 8-sided dice. So for him, you would take 2 8-sided dice, and then you would roll them. So I think this is an 8 and a 10, but you get the point. I'm not going to roll out the roll dice. So you just roll this, and then you're trying to roll higher than this number. If you roll higher than that number, then you win. If you want to move, you just roll the dice, and you move that many spaces. And it's literally a roll and move, and you roll dice to see if you get the bad guys. If you overturn something like this, you get credits. And you're just kind of walking around shooting people. Line of sight is really, really simple to do, because all line of sight, you can shoot anybody from anywhere. You just got to make sure there's no obstructions. That's it. So I could shoot somebody all the way down here. This isn't how long I shoot. It's not range. It's just line of sight. The game is super simple and super easy to play. It's really a child's game. If you're a fan of Firefly, this may attract you. But when I say literally, the only things you can do on your turn, I mean, you can move. You just roll a 6-sided die, and you'll move 1 space. If you want to search, if you're on a place, I mean, you can draw a card from the gear, and maybe you'll get something. Immediately reload up to 3 ammo. Discard after use. All players are hidden from face-up enemies cannot be battled. You can scrounge, which is reload your ammo. If you look here, you're going to have an ammo track coming down, and you're going to have a health track coming down. So if your ammo track gets low, you're going to have to regroup and get your ammo up. And that's done by a roll of a die. You can do some lock picking. These spaces with lock picks on them. Once again, a roll of a die. So if you roll greater than the enemy, I guess this is important for the battling, you would eliminate them. If it's a draw, you just roll again. And you can spend your ammo to increase your number. So as your ammo goes down, you increase your number. And then if you lose, you sacrifice a health to reroll, but trigger the enemy's special attack. Or you can spend any number of ammo to increase your roll. So it's really, I mean, the game really comes down to just what you're rolling these dice. If you're rolling hot numbers, you're going to blow past it. If you roll low, you're not going to do as well. And that really takes away from the game. So it's really just a roll and move, and you roll some dice to see if you hit. It's that easy of a game. There's no other depth. Maybe some of these cards will do stuff to help you out, but for the most part, you're just rolling some dice, move around, and you get 3 scenarios in the box. Who should buy this game? Probably Firefly fans with children 6 to 12. And that might be a reason to keep this game, because you want to play this if you're going to enjoy this show with your children. Young boys and girls may like this game. As for the adventure, I could see kids getting into it. I'm just not sure the license or the property is going to be for children necessarily. I'm not sure that, you know, they'd rather play this over something else. Your child may be into Firefly, but I don't think there's a huge population of children that are into Firefly. Perhaps I'm wrong. But it also may... The scenarios and the tokens may be complicated for children. I think you would need an adult to run it with you. But I don't think the core game is going to keep the attention of somebody unless they're playing with their children and you're enjoying playing with your child and you don't really care what game you play. With that said, I don't want to trash the game completely. I think some people will like this. But when you have Descent and you have Fire Team Zero and you have Zombicide out, I don't know if this is going to be what you're looking for with the depth. But it will appeal to some.